King Solomon is one of the greatest sources of financial wisdom in all of Scripture, not because he merely had wealth, but because he understood that wealth without wisdom can become a burden, and wisdom without discipline cannot be sustained. That is why King Solomon's money lessons still matter today. They are not just ancient sayings, they are practical guidance for how to think, how to work, how to save, how to spend, and how to live with peace. When we talk about King Solomon, many people think first of his wealth, gold, palaces, honor, power, but the deeper question is not simply, how much did Solomon have? The deeper question is, what did Solomon learn about money that we need to hear today? Because Solomon teaches us that money is never just about possession. It is about stewardship. It is about discipline. It is about counsel. It is about contentment. And it is about remembering that life is richer when it is lived with purpose. One of the most important lessons from Solomon is that wealth alone is not enough. A person can have a large income and still make foolish choices. A person can earn a lot and still live under pressure. A person can appear successful and still be financially unstable. Solomon understood this deeply. That is why his writings repeatedly warn against laziness, pride, greed, and impulsive living. Proverbs 10:4 says, "Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth." That is a powerful reminder that financial growth is often built through faithful, ordinary, repeated work. Jewish wisdom teaches that money must be handled with maturity. If not, it becomes fragile. What you do with money matters as much as how much money you have. Solomon teaches us that diligence matters. A lazy hand leads to lack. A steady hand leads to progress. People often want financial growth, but they do not want the discipline that growth requires. They want results without habits. They want stability without consistency. They want abundance without effort. But Solomon reminds us that wealth is often built through steady work, not shortcuts. Proverbs 14:23 says, "All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty." That verse is simple, but it is strong. Hard work matters. Planning matters. Follow-through matters. Talk alone does not build a future. In Jewish teaching, diligence is not just productivity. It is a moral habit. It reflects seriousness, order, and respect for the life God has given you. Another major lesson in Solomon's financial wisdom is the danger of debt. Debt can turn independence into pressure. Debt can turn freedom into worry. Debt can make a person feel trapped. Solomon is very direct about this. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." That is a sober warning. Borrowing should never be treated casually. Debt often looks small at first, but grows heavier over time. Jewish wisdom understands that financial bondage is not just mathematical. It is emotional. It affects peace of mind. It affects decision-making. It affects relationships. It affects worship. That is why Solomon's warning is so relevant. He is saying, do not let tomorrow's pressure steal today's peace. Solomon also teaches us to value counsel. He shows that a wise person listens before he acts. This is important because many financial mistakes happen in isolation. People act too fast. They trust emotion. They ignore correction. They make decisions without wisdom. Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisers they succeed." That is one of the clearest lessons in the book of Proverbs. A wise person seeks counsel. He asks questions. He listens to people with experience. He weighs the consequences. He does not assume that excitement is the same as wisdom. That is a deeply Jewish principle. Wisdom grows through humility. A teachable heart is often a protected heart. If you want better financial outcomes, learn to welcome good counsel early, not after the damage is done. Solomon repeatedly warns about the desire for fast riches. That is a timeless trap. People want shortcuts. They want easy money. They want rapid increase without process. But Solomon sees the danger in that mindset. Proverbs 28:20 says, "A faithful person will be richly blessed, but one eager to get rich will not go unpunished." That is a direct warning against greed and shortcuts. Quick gain often comes with hidden cost. It can lead to dishonesty. It can lead to instability. It can lead to disappointment. It can lead to loss. Jewish wisdom teaches that blessing should be pursued with integrity, patience, and restraint. A person who is always chasing fast money will often lose the peace needed to keep it. Another hidden lesson in Solomon's writings is the value of saving and planning. Wise people do not spend everything they receive. They think ahead, they prepare, they understand seasons. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." That verse shows us the difference between thoughtful planning and reckless urgency. You do not have to be wealthy to be wise. You do not have to have a high income to plan well. You do not have to know the future to prepare for it. Solomon's wisdom teaches us that the future should be considered, not ignored. That means building habits of restraint. That means setting aside resources. That means avoiding waste. That means knowing that small, faithful steps can create stability over time. Proverbs 13:11 also says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." That is a beautiful picture of steady growth, little by little, faithfully, patiently, wisely. That is how lasting strength is built. Solomon also understood the danger of greed. Greed is never satisfied. It always wants more. It always thinks one more thing will finally bring peace. But peace does not come from endless accumulation. Proverbs 23:4-5 warns, "Do not wear yourself out to get rich. Do not trust your own cleverness. Cast but a glance at riches, and they are gone." That is a strong warning. Money can disappear. Possessions can fade. Effort without wisdom can exhaust the soul. Jewish wisdom teaches contentment. That does not mean lack of ambition. It means the heart is not enslaved to craving. A content person can be generous. A content person can be stable. A content person can enjoy blessing without being consumed by it. Solomon knew that a person can have much and still feel empty if the heart is disordered. That is why contentment is financial wisdom. It protects you from living in comparison. It protects you from wasteful striving. It protects you from believing that money can solve every problem. Solomon also cares deeply about honesty. Truthful dealings matter, fair measurements matter, clean hands matter. In Jewish wisdom, money is never disconnected from character. How you earn matters. How you spend matters. How you treat others matters. A person may build wealth by dishonest means, but that kind of success is fragile. Solomon's wisdom calls for a cleaner way. That means honest work, honest speech, honest dealing, and honest motives. Integrity may not always feel flashy, but it is durable, and durability is one of the greatest financial blessings a person can have. One of Solomon's deepest financial lessons is that possessions alone cannot satisfy the soul. He had what many people dream of, yet he still understood the limits of wealth. That is a powerful warning. If a man with abundance still warns us not to trust in possessions, then we should listen carefully. Jewish wisdom teaches that life has greater purpose than accumulation. Money is a tool, not a master. Not an identity, not a measure of worth. When money becomes a servant, it can do good. When money becomes a master, it can distort everything. Solomon helps us keep that order straight. So what do we take from the Jewish wisdom hidden in Solomon's money lessons? We learn to Work diligently. Avoid debt. Seek counsel. Resist fast gain. Save with purpose. Live with contentment. And maintain integrity in all dealings. These are not just money tips. They are life principles. Because how we handle money often reveals how we handle discipline, patience, and trust. The Jewish wisdom hidden in King Solomon's money lessons is simple, but powerful. Money should be handled with wisdom. Wealth should be guided by discipline. Success should be protected by integrity. And blessing should never replace gratitude. Solomon shows us that financial peace is not found in having everything. It is found in knowing how to live wisely with what you have. So if you want a better financial life, do not only ask how to make more. Ask how to think better. Do not only ask how to grow wealth. Ask how to grow wisdom. Because that is what King Solomon would want you to understand. And that is what Jewish wisdom still teaches today. If this content blessed you, please subscribe, leave a comment, and like this video so more people can be encouraged.